This Cowboys mailbag was as part of our live Thursday show. We answer your questions that come in via Super Chats, the live chat, or Super Thanks. From Steven, question, after the bad job the refs did on Sunday, do they get reprimanded, fined for the penalties not called or called incorrectly? I don't think they get fined, which the NFL fines has been a joke this year for the players. Really, they've been obscene. But they do get reprimanded. Now, sometimes they say, do better. Sometimes they say, hey, you're not going to call the primetime game, or you're not going to be in our good crew come playoff time, / we're not going to bring you back next year. So there are reprimands. I would argue they probably don't go far enough because this is too important of a thing to be screwing up this consistently. And it's not just the Cowboys game, by the way. It is every game in the NFL. They cannot get basic procedure stuff right. The Bears-Saints game, it took them 10 minutes to review a spot. They didn't know if it was a first down. They ruled a first down, then a fourth down, then a first down. They reset the play clock twice. They had no idea what was going on. They had to challenge it. They had no clue. It took me watching live 30 seconds to know it's a first down right here. And they couldn't figure it out. The worst call in the Cowboys-Eagles game, by the way, ended up not mattering, was the Chuma Adoga illegal formation call. It was not an illegal formation. He checked in as eligible. Dak literally looked at the officials and gave the sign to point to Adoga like, you got him. The ref said yes, and then they throw the flag. He's like, wasn't covered up. He's not supposed to be covered up. He's the tight end on that play. They can't get the basics right, let alone the judgment calls. The refs are a mess this season. Now, to a more positive note here, we do the raffles on our Sunday shows. By the way, you're going to love Sunday's giveaway. I can't wait. It's one of the best ones we've ever given away. But not everyone can watch live. So I do want to extend this offer as well. Every $10 super thanks that comes in will be entered into our raffle as well for the watch parties if you can't join in. Throughout the week, $10 will put you in the same cost as the raffle item. So every $10 in the future, we will include that into our raffle because I want to make sure people who can't watch the game live with us, because people are working or whatever, they still have a chance to win as well. So $10 super thanks gets you entered into our watch party raffle for that week. Mighty Ants, what's up with Matt Waletzko? I don't know. I'm not sure this is an injury IR stash or if he's just not healthy yet. I haven't heard much about it. Doesn't seem like he's all that close. There's also kind of you don't need another right tackle if he's not healthy. So, that's kind of the one on steer right now. So I'm not really sure. Maybe we get some more word later on this year. Maybe he re-aggravated that shoulder, which has been a problem, unfortunately, for him. Marcus Arnold, thanks. If we're going to get bad play on the O-line, are they getting from healthy players? Bench Tyron, Biadasz, Steele, and they'd be learning. For starters, Tyron's played really well for you. So I'm not benching him. Even though I have been disappointed by Tyler Biadasz, he's still better than what Brock Hoffman is. Now, you can make the argument for Terence Steele. The issue is you need him to get healthy. You've paid him. And Adoga is probably better on the left side. Richard's not a right tackle. I kind of want to let Steele try to work his way through it. If it becomes untenable, which it kind of was against Philly, but if that continues against other competition, maybe we can reevaluate. But I'm not worried about health. I'm trying to put my best 5 out there. And for now, I think Terence Steele is still a part of that conversation. Hopefully, the return to performance comes in the near future. Now, what is your confidence level in the offensive line? Scale it for me from 1 to 10. It is the pinned comment of today's video. If the ad comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. Leroy Pearson Jr. Based on Tyler Biadasz's play this season, who holds the upper hand in negotiations this offseason? I know he's not the best center, but we can't afford to lose him if we're not going to replace him with a bona fide center. Totally get where you're coming from. The advantage is probably pros and cons. Like, the Cowboys can't tag Tyler Biadasz. The franchise tag for O-line cost is the same, so it's like $22 million. It's just not going to happen. So it's either pay him or let him hit the open market. I think he's been maybe a little bit worse, the same from last year. I thought he was kind of undervalued by PFF last year, and maybe a bit overvalued right now. I haven't, the leap hasn't come yet. And that's what's disappointing to me. I think you've got a low-end starting caliber center. I can spend a draft pick on one. I can sign somebody else in free agency. I know that's dangerous, not having a tried and true option behind him right now. It's probably not Brock Hoffman. But I'm also not breaking the bank right now. What you're paying him to be is fine. You're not paying him anything. He's giving you a league average play. That's a fine contract. I'm not going to pay good starter money for an okay starter. That's a bad investment. Ecuador man, can we finally admit Deuce was a publicity stunt? But he wasn't. That's the thing. He was probably going to be drafted in the next 20 picks or so, even if the Cowboys hadn't done it. He's small. That is a very real liability that he has. But if he were a publicity stunt, he wouldn't have been playing early on this season. So I think you'll see him again this year too, by the way. Now, today's show is made possible by Game Time. They have killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their best price guarantee. Game Time, to put it simply, takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. My favorite part is their zone deals. You pick the section, and Game Time picks the seat for an average of 18% savings, and their Game Time guarantee means you'll always get the best price. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. So download the Game Time app today, create an account, and use code CowboysChat for $20 off your first purchase. Once you create your account, download the app. Bottom right of the screen, you'll see the profile button. Click it. Then you'll see redeem code, I think it's 3 or 4 down in the middle of the app. Go in there, plug in COWBOYSCHAT for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply, but check the comment section and the description of today's show. The link and the promo code are going to be in there. Chris B, draft this year is why you have to do free agency and trades. Correct. Overall, the Cowboys are a good drafting team. They're probably one of the top 10 drafting teams, if not bordering on top 5 in the entire NFL. However, you can't rely on 33% of your available upgrade options to carry 100% of your team because you're going to miss on picks. It's impossible not to. Everyone does it. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to have bad luck, bad player, injury, whatever. You have to do more than sign a 6th offensive lineman, a back who got cut, and a long snapper in free agency. That's not good enough. They make 2 trades and say, oh, those are our deadline deals. No, you know, they're free agency. Completely agree, Chris B. Jay Smooth, Jalen Tolbert should be starting over Gallup. Yes, he should. It's been a much heavier rotation as of late. And by the way, I did go back and look, and after the drop by Michael Gallup, the next drive, it was all Tolbert. Did not sub Gallup in there, and they eventually put him back later on in the game as well, eventually. But yeah, I think Tolbert should be playing over him. Absolutely should. Andrew, why not bring back Dez Bryant if you're signing old Bryant to play wide receiver? It's funny. I would also caution, keep your Martavis Bryant expectations low. We will see if he does anything. It's kind of just a lottery pick. Dez is done, unfortunately. He's not on the same juice he did after all the injuries, and he was never as fast as Bryant as Martavis anyway. So Dez is just not going to happen there. But chance to ask this question. Who is your favorite Cowboys player? Not the best, just your favorite player. One of my favorites all time shall continue to be Sean Lee. If Sean Lee's hamstrings were not like mine and made of cotton candy, he would have been an all-time great. Just couldn't quite stay healthy. The stats of Sean Lee off for Sean Lee off on the defense were insane. Sean Lee is my answer. Timothy Morris, if Terence Steele wasn't getting beat like he stole something, the game wouldn't be close. People were open. Dak didn't have time. And he still threw for damn near 400 yards in the game despite it. Yeah, I think that in particular is a reason why, you know, your receivers not named Lamb and Ferguson aren't mad. Like, that's why Cooks isn't upset. Like, the Cowboys are trying to get the ball to Cooks, but they take a shot play up, offensive line gets beat, it's double teamed. They do the zone beater to Cooks. It's man, bad luck. They do the man beater for hooks. Oh, they surprised us. They went to zone. Just kind of some bad luck. But yeah, Steele's got to be better. Got to be better. TKG. Tom, will you finally make kickers for people too? Because we have the best kicker in the league through 3 weeks. The success of Brandon Aubrey proves my point, though. Kickers are not people. They found a freaking soccer player to do it. This is my greatest evidence ever. You guys, like the purpose of kickers are not people. It's kind of like running backs don't matter. It's not literal. Kickers are people. They have rights, etc., blah, blah, blah. But running backs do matter. They just matter less. Just like kickers do. I can find a kicker. I don't need to invest or pay big bucks to a kicker not named Justin Tucker. Maybe this is the new Justin Tucker. It's an 8-game sample size. Aubrey's been great. They proved me right. I said just find somebody off the street, and it's exactly what they've done. So kickers literally are people. But for the purposes of the bit, they are not, because you can find them anywhere. Now, we will be live for the Cowboys-Giants watch party. Hit that sub button if you have it already. We'll be live an hour and a half-ish before the football game. Should be some fun. Chris B, how do you feel with the Cowboys thus far? Grade B? Somewhere in that range? It can't be an A. I thought you were going to be 4-4. Now, I also thought you were going to lose to the Giants, or to the Jets with Aaron Rodgers. Then you lost to the Cardinals, which was kind of weird. And then you kind of took care of business against the Chargers, which I wasn't convinced you were going to do. But you did. You delivered in the clutch there. I think your defense has to be a little bit better at this stage. And these are like explosive plays. Like we have the conversation of, the offense can't beat good teams. Yeah, it's a team thing, and your defense hasn't been great either. You know that, like they're getting 28 points. Tough way to live against good teams, right? I know that. Steven, more Sam Williams coming when? Maybe soon. I thought he flashed in a small sample size against Philadelphia, but they don't love him as a run stopper, which I get. He was, I think, in the doghouse for a little bit, whether or not the Cowboys admit it or not. But he's been a good special teamer. Was a captain on special teams last week. I think you'll see more of him against the Giants, in part because the game might be over pretty early. So should the Cowboys play Sam Williams more? Y for yes, N for no in the comments section. Lance Dunbar's burner account. What happened to Kris Richard? I seriously thought he was going to be our next head coach at one point. Could he replace McCarthy in the future? No. Kris Richard, as of right now, is not coaching. He is out of the NFL. He was the Seahawks DC. Remember, gets fired, comes to Dallas, looks great, gets the passing game coordinator role, and then kind of falls up. It was like a 1 year great, 1 year bad. Goes to the Saints, was there for 2 years, after a year off, by the way. DB's coach, co-DC, gets fired, was out of the job. From what I have heard, not maybe the easiest guy to coach with is some of the negative things I've heard around Richard as to why he's out there. Great hype man, maybe, but I think the overhyped coaching tree was certainly there for Kris Richard. He is not replacing McCarthy anytime soon.